I didn't want to be another statistic, another Puerto Rican girl who stays in the ghetto, ends up pregnant, or involved in a gang, or doing drugs. I just felt like I had to be different. I was born in Puerto Rico to two very young parents. At the age of 1.5, my dad and my mom decided to move to the United States. My dad was looking for jobs. My parents were working class, very low income, and my dad stressed education, education, education. He said, yes, you're growing up here, but we're working hard, so you better make sure you do well in school. That's all you have to worry about. I worked hard, and I took every class I could. I got involved in everything I could get involved in, but inside there was something missing, and there was a darkness beginning to creep in. I was this little girl who didn't know really what there was to life, and I thought, well, if I don't, let's say if I fail, because everything is riding on me doing well. And as a 15, 16, 17-year-old, having that constant pressure that I just cannot screw up, and yet so many pressures from friends, school. I wanted to be part of the gang. I wanted to felt like I belonged. I didn't want to feel like the goody two-shoe. And so I got involved in the wrong crowds. And I started dating the wrong kind of guys. And I started getting into trouble. But I never stopped getting A's in school. And it felt like I was leading a double life. And I felt like I had my feet straddled in two different places. And I was just being pulled and pulled and pulled and stretched until I felt like I was going to break. Because see, I was trying to please everyone else. And in trying to please everyone else, I lost myself. And I just began to think, well, what if I fail? What if I am no longer here? A few times I actually went in the bathroom and I remember taking razor blades to my wrist and just saying, I wonder if. And those thoughts kept coming back. If I'm not valuable, if I just go away. I would slide the razor blades like over my wrist and think, yeah, what if? And to me, it felt like that would probably be a better choice. And I wouldn't have to worry and maybe make my parents worry. Like, what if I fail? I couldn't face that disappointment. And I was like, I'd rather just not live. And I remember one time in health class, our teacher changed the whole class. And this was actually, I think, where God was really intervening in my life. And the health teacher said, we're going to do something different today. We are going to write a secret down that you haven't told anyone. And I thought, this is my chance. I can get it all out, no one will know. So I just like wrote down everything I was feeling. Like I was pressed in a dark corner and I would sit in dark corners and I would cry and I'd feel like there was no purpose inside of me and that I would try to kill myself. I mean, I confessed everything on this piece of paper. About a week later, the health teacher called me into his office and he said, remember a health class last week? And I was like, yeah, that was really good. Thank you for doing that. He's like, yeah, so I read through all of them. He pulled it out and it was mine. He knows. I let on that I was this happy-go-lucky girl doing so great in school and inside I was dying. And I was like, to reveal this to my parents was like so hard. So we go to my home and my mom and dad are sitting down and I'm nervous. So she explained about the note and she explained of our session, and my dad at that point was really getting involved in the community, and for him, he didn't want this to come up, and so I almost felt more shame because I didn't want this to like hurt anything my family was doing. So And I felt kind of sad inside because this is a point of my life where I was really reaching out to them for help, and I wasn't getting any help from them. So the counselor left, and my mom never said anything. She just sat there and cried. My dad looked at me and left the room. And so I was left kind of alone with my struggle. So I walked upstairs, and as I'm walking upstairs, I decided, you know what? If I want to live, I'm gonna have to help myself. And I want to live, and I want to see what will happen. And so I'm gonna have to make this happen, and I'm gonna have to fight for myself. So from that day forward, I did. And of course, you go through high school, you apply to colleges. I got into Princeton, and they provided me a full ride to go. And my first year at Princeton was the hardest year of my life. I was away from home, everything I knew that was familiar, and my identity and my purpose was being tested again. Here I am surrounded by kids who grew up in families that were able to afford the best for them. I began to feel inferior to everyone around me, and again the depression came. And actually even I struggled with anxiety, where I remember leaving my dorm room to where I would open my door, stand in my door frame, and freeze. I could not move beyond my room. And even though I wanted to leave the room, I couldn't. And my grades weren't doing so well, and I kept thinking, I can't fail. My parents' dreams are riding on me. I busted the mold from where I grew up, where I was in the ghetto, and if I fail, I'm gonna prove people right again. It's I have to be strong, but I just didn't know how. There was a women's conference, and there was a missionary from Colombia. She was preaching, and she was talking about fighting for something greater than herself. In all my life, I wanted something like that, but I just didn't know what it looked like. And now I saw what that looked like. I said, I want to try that. So when she asked, who would like to receive Jesus, I went up, and that was the first time I actually asked the Lord to be in my heart and to reign in my life, and that I would give my life for Him. And God met me right in my brokenness, right when I was going through the worst time, right when I even doubted myself and was confused. God met me there. I struggled with depression, anxiety, purpose and loss of identity, confusion, and suicidal thoughts. And God came in and changed it. And now I have joy and hope and love, forgiveness, mercy. Me and my family, they're restored. I have such a great relationship with my parents. And God really redeems all things for good. That's my book, God Movement.